Now, one cannot ignore in the last decade the influence of social media. One might rightly say that it's here to stay. But when it comes to finding the significant other, when it comes to dating, when it comes to knowing somebody else online, the world of online dating has taken a whole new dimension. There are apps for it. There are forums, there are clubs. Everything happens online. You don't necessarily have to physically meet the other person. But what are the dangers? Is everything what it seems? Can true love be found online? Welcome to Blue Room Banters, certified cool by Premier Cool Soap. I am Oscar Onyiso. We'll be back after the break to talk about online dating, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Great to have you back. Still Blue Room Banters, certified cool by Premier Cool Soap. Yeah, I have to slow down on that so that it sinks in. I have some great guys here with me. Normally I'll say they need no introduction, but we do need to introduce in case you don't know who they are. Olu, filmmaker, writer extraordinaire. How you doing, bro?
I'm good, thanks.
Great to have you. Nnamdi, sports enthusiast, media consultant, and some other things that I cannot mention legally on television. Great to have you here, my brother.
Good to be here.
All right, and of course, last but definitely not the least, BJ Adams. Now, this is a long list. TV, radio, fashion entrepreneur, rapper, DJ, and of course, game enthusiast, and other things in between. And Beard Gang, obviously.
Come on. Good to be here.
Great to have you here, my brother. Now, it is online dating. I didn't have the benefit of swiping left or right. But there is the good, the bad, and the ugly. So someone like BJ Adams and myself, we didn't experience. Did you experience that? Online dating?
No. Oscar. Hello.
Speak for myself.
Joe. Please, bro.
Nnamdi, I'm sure.
Why didn't you experience it? Was there any reason why you
It wasn't available for me.
So you stopped dating before the
Yeah,
internet?
I was, okay, so I'm the traditional.
Okay.
A lot of us.
So I'm
are
asking
still
because
traditional.
I don't understand. Maybe was it marriage? Because I don't think marriage stops dating.
Oh,
It doesn't?
that's a topic for another topic.
No, I'm just saying, you know. Well, look, we've already been condemned as Lagos married men and everything. So let's just own it.
Oh yeah, Nnamdi is married, by the way.
Yes.
In case you were confused.
Let's just own it. Let's own it.
But did you have any experience with online dating?
Of course, a lot.
Name some of the apps. Let me see.
So it all started on normal phones. This was your normal Symbian phones. This is not your BlackBerry or anything. You had to go. Then you now had Badoo. Then you now had your BlackBerry Messenger. Then you had your WhatsApp. Then you had Tinder. And dating now took a sharp turn, you know. On Tinder, we started seeing some things, you know, mature guys only, hookup only, which we understood meant that dating had been commercialized. I don't know, there's another term for it, but let's just call it
We'll leave it at commercialized.
commercialized dating. Then other sites came up. Most popular of which is, I think, one called Coded Runs. Not that I've used it. Look, I've heard. I don't touch these things, but yeah.
We'll take your word for it. What about you?
Oh,
Olu?
Lord.
No, I'm not really.
How were you
having-
initiated, if at all, into the world of online
I
dating?
guess I tried, what was it called? eHarmony once. And they don't think it really I signed up for an account, but I never really did anything with it.
eHarmony. It sounds like a scam.
These were like ages
There
ago.
were a lot of them then.
It was like a Christian dating site kind of thing,
Okay.
but it's just not quite my tempo.
Yeah.
It's just not my
What's your
tempo.
status now?
Oh, single.
They
Obviously.
would never have let me into that site.
They would
Just
never?
Never.
What about VJ seems more traditional.
To be honest, I don't know any of those dating sites per se. But if you consider Instagram
Okay.
as part of it, then I've met someone via Instagram.
In the DMs.
Yes, that lived in Tanzania, that I flew down to Nigeria,
Whoa.
which was scheduled to be for 1 week,
Uh-huh.
but I cut the trip short after 3 days. Tori?
This I got to find out. What's happening?
You know, when you speak to people via the phone, video calls, whatever, it's a little different when they're in person
Yeah.
and they experience real life scenarios with you. And then when you see some red flags, I don't waste my time. I can quickly tell it's not going to work. Let's
wait. Alpha.
Let's see what happens.
No.
It's not let's see what happens.
I can see what's happening already.
Yeah.
There's nothing else to see what's going to happen. So I cut that trip short. So that's my
Did
experience.
she know why you cut it short,
Yes.
or you were polite about it?
No, I told her.
And Namdi, what would you have done in that situation?
Or I would have flown to Tanzania so I could meet other girls in case that one didn't work. I'd never fly her in, I'd fly there, it's the same ticket. I'll fly there, instead of hosting her, I'll host myself there. And instead of just me and her, I'd get to meet other Tanzanian girls.
You know,
I
I,
mean,
was,
you know-
I was younger though.
Doesn't matter how you
It
meet
does,
someone.
it
that you
does.
want to date.
We like to pretend it doesn't
I think a
matter.
lot of this- a
It
lot of
does,
this
first
matters.
impression.
How you meet matters. It will be part of your story. How you met, what went on when you met, where you met. If it's impressionable, if it's casual, if you can't actually recall,
Yeah.
or if you meet
And then
officially,
forget.
then it's something else that makes you come together down the line.
Yeah.
So that's I say that history matters, especially if you're still with the person or intending to carry things on with the person.
Does online dating actually erode like the thrills? So for guys now, we all have the whole writing a poem, finding where the girl stays, you know, wooing the girl, driving if you have a car, you can rent a car, you can steal a car, getting to her place, taking her on a date, those steps. So do you think online dating has robbed the dating industry of that process?
So honestly, by my second year in university,
That
I think
wooing process, basically.
around 2000, GSN came to Nigeria. So writing poems and all those things ended very quickly and very sharply. Once everybody had a phone, you sent a text message, where are you? You know, we didn't have to go through all that. If you had a phone, half of it was done already. Oh, he has a phone, half the job is done. There was something we used to say that time, that you toast girl to your mouth dry, to your spit finish.
Just from a general perspective, why did they glamorize you chasing another human
Let's
when
use
you
wooing.
both
Let's use the word wooing.
when you both want? Is it that you don't want the relationship?
So
Is it just me that wants this? Am I the only one interested in companionship and love? You don't want love as well?
So are you the let's meet halfway kind of guy?
I'm just saying. Like,
no,
why is that not
I'm of the
optional?
school of thought that we should always listen to women. And since they've branded men predators, we hunt them, yes, let's hunt. I like to own everything. So yes, I will hunt the woman. And if she considers herself prey, that's her own opinion. But the truth is, we did have to. Mainly because we were competing with other guys.
Okay.
Mainly because there was a pool of girls that were deemed the most attractive, most social, and you wanted to get somebody from that. You know what your life was like back in the days. You were there.
Yes,
You were there.
yes, I was actually.
Good. So don't you were there.
You were there.
You were
So
there.
we were talking.
No, but seriously, that thrill of talking to her, you know, having to be creative, you know, thinking of what to do, all those things. Now it seems to be that, you know, rather than do something, you can put an emoji or
One or two emojis takes care of the
or a
expression.
small animation, or, you know, we're back to Egyptian hieroglyphics. We're not, there's no physical communication again. I do think it has robbed it of its soul, but that's for us who experienced that.
We're in between the old
Yeah,
and the
and
new, so
new.
to speak.
For people who are born into this, I don't think they really miss anything,
Right.
because it's what they met from the beginning.
Olu, so let me, you're a filmmaker. Art imitates life and, you know, the other way. So you're in a world where you create stories. Would you say online dating has improved the dating scene or the dating pool, where from someone like me, I could only handle maybe 3 or 4 girls at the same time. I can't
Bad.
expend
Bad,
my
bad.
energy.
Nice for
3 or 4.
I mean, wooing them, not at the same time.
Aye,
But with
aye.
online dating, you're open to like 500, 1,000 people at the same time. You can copy and paste the same message and just paste in a DM. Would you say that is an improvement in the dating scene or not?
I think it's damaged human relationships, and it's made things tougher for an actual relationship to function. So let's say 1999, a cute girl, at the most she's dealing with guys in school. Holiday time, she's dealing with guys in the neighborhood. Now, before she's an attractive girl, but before noon, she has like 50 DMs telling her how amazing she is. She has 1,000 comments and likes and cute, all that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Telling how fantastic she is. If she happens to be in a relationship with a boyfriend, or she has a boyfriend, that's trouble for him. If he's not giving her a certain level of attention, there's always a comparison that you're not meeting up. You're disposable. I can get rid of you like that. There are 100 people in my DMs. So I think it does complicate relationships in a way that people didn't have to deal with 20 years ago, 30 years ago.
Sorry, can I, from what he just said, which is very true, because I was going to think of it as a very far left opinion, but it just comes out to what he says. Most of our communication is non-verbal. When you're talking to a girl, looking at her body language, you look on her face, her posture, you don't get all that from a chat and all that. And is this in any way leading to the fact that it's more transactional now? Relationships are not emotional. It seems to be more transactional. Okay. What are you doing? Yeah. What am I getting?
What have you done for me lately?
You know, it seems to be
value
that.
Exchange.
Yeah, just value exchanges. It's no longer emotional commitment and all that. No, it's just
some might say that it saves all the unnecessary talk. Everybody gets straight to the point. You know, if you're in, you're in. If you're out,
but what's the point?
But at the same time, by the time they actually get in a relationship, assuming they dated online, those things you have to learn about human nature are gone. So by the time you actually start physically dating,
conflict.
That's built up.
Well, now
that you normally have to deal with. You walk out of a house, you go to this, you blah blah blah. All those physical cues or reading the body language, it has short-circuited that. And outside of dating, generally for human emotions, even for adults that grew up offline.
I don't want to go into the adults part yet. I'll leave that to Inamdi. I'm sure he has a lot to say. A short story to share after the break, and I'm sure my guys have one or two things to say about that. Catfishing is the word to look out for when it comes to online dating. Are you familiar with this? We'll talk about this after. It's still Blue Room Banters and, of course, Certified Cool by Premier Cool Soap. Stick around. Certified Cool by Premier Cool Soap. This is Blue Room Banters. A quick story to share, guys, just to put everything in context. Love to hear what you guys have to say. So boy meets girl. Boy sets up a profile, you know, pictures, everything, ticks all the boxes. Girl does the same. Boy flies down to meet girl. Then when they physically met, you know, the ceiling was shattered. It wasn't everything he thought it would be. And he got on a plane. Yeah, so there was an expectation.
No
so
video calls? They didn't think about that?
You want the IP address too?
No, because I feel like that could help you to a certain degree. Like, you make a video.
Let me even take a cue.
Video calls are not even guaranteed now. I just a few days ago,
there's deepfake.
I realized what they called.
Deepfake now.
It's called the beauty app or something.
Yeah, but
I didn't know. I've been seeing
those
images
look,
for months.
If you are a guy who is really crazy about a babe, you're not going to be thinking like a CIA operative, like what if she's catfishing?
Wow, talk to me now.
That's what I'm saying. So VJ.
No, that's not what I do here. You're attacking me.
No, look. The truth is, there's always been catfishing on many small levels. Some of them are Instagram filters. And when you see her, she doesn't really have translucent light skin, but you know, we'll let it go. You know, people have blue eyes in pictures. We even have physical catfishing, where you meet the girl and, you know, when she gets to your place, she takes off her wig, eyelashes, nails, shoes, so she's now shorter, bald, darker. All these things happen, but that aside, the other side of it is, a lot of people have confidence issues, and social media, social networks have given people a chance to be judged by the content of what's in them. So they put out funny tweets, funny Instagram posts, and people like it. They're creative, they're funny, somebody likes you. But you're very insecure about how you look.
Which is what this story was about. I want to take a cue from Vijay Adam's story, where, is it the Tanzanian girl?
Tanzanian girl, yeah.
So you did the video call, you did everything. What put you off about her when you finally met her?
First of all, she's a pretty girl. Still is a very pretty girl till now.
Oh, you're still in touch, nice.
But the thing is, I think we're just not compatible in terms of the things that matter to me in real life.
Okay.
You know when people give all those stories of, oh, the way the person pressed toothpaste.
Oh, they didn't cover the toilet seat.
Yeah, you know those small things, and it's not small things.
So
For example, all
wasn't
this
hot enough for
AC.
you.
Me, I actually with AC plus 2 fans. I said I'm in a cold room, Abi. Someone is like, oh, I have to off the AC halfway. You're disturbing my sleep because if the AC goes off for 1 second, I wake up.
Yeah.
She wasn't hot enough for you.
But
No,
does
no,
does
no.
does
If she's hot enough, you will sleep with no fan.
No.
Closed window.
and Namdi, which
Under
angle
duvet.
which angle are you
No,
tilting?
I'm telling no. If she was hot enough,
Do you want to see it? I
It's
can't put a
sacrifice.
picture. No. I don't want lawsuits.
So let's just put the picture of
Let's
this,
put the picture
of
on the
this lady
screen.
queuing the picture
put it
now.
on the screen now. No, we can't do that. No, I promise you. Don't worry. After the show, I'll show you a picture.
I would sacrifice.
I'll show you a picture.
So, look,
but it was just a case of, I just knew there was no reason wasting time because when you're on the phone, you're in somewhere else. I'm somewhere else. It's just quick chats here and there.
Yeah.
Oh, I gotta go. I have to work. Oh, I gotta go. I have to do this. You're not. There's no direct human behavior to even see how maybe he speaks to the waiter.
How he tips or how he or
Or
she
how
addresses.
she addressed
She ate her
someone.
meat and the rice hadn't finished. That's
or there was too
You
much
know.
stew.
that's greed.
But are there any good aspects of this online
So
dating?
for me, of course, they're great as people have gotten married to the love of their lives via the social media, Twitter,
Yeah.
wherever. But just to wrap up on some of the bad aspects, the problem with alternating how you look to portray a certain image of yourself on social media is the fact that where do you draw the line? At what point does it become fraud? And when is it just, oh, I was just being insecure and I just thought this looked better. It made me feel better about myself. So there's a lot of great in it, but the bad, I can't say outweighs the good, but is almost on the same level.
Online dating has created a platform where you know what you're looking for in a woman. I know what I'm looking for. Imagine if the girl where you had some things you didn't like, you joined somewhere like maybe Black Planet or something, some dating forum, and you saw likes, dislikes, pet peeves. You can quickly filter out,
And yeah,
okay, so I don't like, she doesn't like, oh, we seem to have this in common. You can quickly screen and shortlist. It's almost like the apps become a scout for you.
If back in the 90s, before mobile phones, if you didn't have a phone, landline in your house, you have to find somebody's landline. You have to be going to go and call that babe.
At certain times.
Assuming she has a landline in her house.
Night out.
At certain times.
So that means she has to go and find somebody's house. You have to go and find somebody's house. Oh, 4 o'clock we'll meet and we'll talk. And you have to start gauging how many hours or how many minutes you're talking. So that has short-circuited that. You can talk with somebody on WhatsApp for 4 or 5 hours or back and forth all day. So that's an advantage for communication. But
Well,
at the
for some
same
people-
time, there are certain human social intelligence, emotional intelligence, and social engineering that is being stripped away because the app just makes you just click, 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 click. You put an emoji that you're not even feeling. So by the time you actually get into the relationship, that learning curve you didn't experience starts affecting the relationship.
You start finding out
In
things
addition,
on the
yeah.
other side.
Yeah, now that the dopamine highs from certain type of social media validation and attention, when you're not getting it in the relationship, you start getting into fights and arguing and other kinds of stuff. So overall, there are a lot of downsides that technology has brought into human interaction generally that we need to reclaim.
Now, like your online profile, does it actually reflect your true personality? I'll be back to discuss with the gang and basically try to find out how far is enough when it comes to what you read about someone. Is it a true reflection? It's still Blue Room Banters. Stick around. We'll be back after this. Great to have you back. Blue Room Banters, certified cool by Premier Cool Soap. And it's about online dating, the good, the bad, the ugly. Technology has bridged the gap, but it still doesn't change the essence of who the people are on either side of these gaps. If you're a terrible person, quote unquote, whether you meet physically or you meet online, you're still a terrible person. If you're a great person, you still are. And that brings to my question. Does your online profile reflect your true personality?
No, it doesn't.
No, it doesn't.
No, it doesn't. Really?
Everybody,
It
even
They are
without
out of the
online,
abundance of the hearts you posted.
So
even I'm not going to say it's fraud, but even in offline interactions with people you're not too familiar with,
Yeah.
people are not your guys that you can let your guard down around. People have social mastery where
Yeah.
you see this is their office voice, office personality, this is their family personality, this is their
be a part of
friendship
personality.
personality.
Absolutely.
And that is code switching. They call it code switching.
From the online perspective, what I was even going to get into is even the ugly. Because there's a show I watch called Web of Lies, which is just centered around people that have lost their lives just by virtue of people having fake accounts,
Catfishing and all that.
catfishing and all of that stuff, you know. And we cannot ignore that part of it, even though there's a lot of good
That has
that we've
come out.
gotten from social
Yeah.
media and dating.
I'm a sucker for, for a happy ending, obviously. But the reality is there are some terrible, terrible things out there with respect to online dating. The dangers, we read stories of people who, from the catfishing and then it's
Absolutely.
kidnap and then you miss some unsolved cases. I don't want to go into Nigeria where they can't even track you. Do you get? But does online relationship also go through the stages that traditional dating will go through? So, I need to just read this out. So there's, the first one is merge. There's doubt and denial, disillusionment, the decision, and then eventually love. Do you think that online dating has robbed people of some of these stages where what you see, you click or swipe or whatever, and you don't take that time to go through the process of dating, which eventually, at the end of that journey, you'll be able to say, okay, you know what, I want to take it on with this guy, or I want to take it on with this girl.
I think if you leave the whole process up until love to the online platform, of course you're going to have issues. Now, even in real life, you could meet a girl, the first date went well, second date went well, third date, things crash from there. I think the problem is that we just expect that the fantasy we created in our head
Yeah.
while we were online
Yes.
must be perfect like that to the end.
And to even add to the first things we said in the earliest part of the show, reading body language, it's too important for
To
me
ignore.
to ignore. Like I'm big
Tone of
on
voice.
tone of voice and all of that. But you can get all of that when you meet in person.
Would you recommend online dating? Olu?
I wouldn't recommend online dating in the sense of you go to a dating platform
And open a profile and
open
pay.
a profile. If on Instagram or Facebook or Twitter you meet somebody and you start talking ahead, that's a different matter.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah.
And you build up from there. But going on a dating platform and say you want to meet a romantic partner, I personally wouldn't recommend it.
I've met a lot of great people on social media. I can't even lie. Twitter, Instagram, anywhere. But like he said, will I tell my brother to go on Tinder and go look for the love of his life? No, I wouldn't.
I remember all the first girls I dated were courtesy of my senior sister's friends. I had fairy godmothers. I didn't have game. I wasn't toasting anybody. I had fairy godmothers giving me other people's junior sisters, say, you will date Amaka's brother.
Limao.
Straight up. But you have people who are depending on themselves for everything. Now, when you're not that confident, you put up a profile and hope that somebody who is equally lacking in confidence like you will see it. And the fear of rejection is less when you never knew the rejection happened.
Well, okay.
How important is being truthful when it comes to online dating for you? How
Very
important is it?
important. Very important.
Like put everything out there?
No.
No, maybe
Some
not.
say put everything
Some
out
mystery is
there.
required. Just don't put out anything that's not true.
Absolutely. I think that's what we should emphasize on. Don't put out anything that isn't correct.
Yeah.
You know, so whether or not, like I have a friend who's got a health condition, but I knew when we were having the conversation. So it wasn't like on her bio, it's there that she has this health condition. While we're talking, she mentioned that, Oma, I have this. So I'm like, oh wow, that's how you're handling it, you know, and even got me a little more inquisitive about that particular topic, that health topic. So
And even something that's correct, don't put half information. Like someone like me now, I would just put my name, and because I played
Tall,
a
dark,
couple of
and
years
handsome.
of rugby, I write 6'2" ex-pro sportsman. I expected to see a guy with six-pack. You know you're meeting the mascot for beer parlors. So those are the things that, you don't put half information. You need to put out the whole truth.
Unless you belong in a group where beer parlor mascots is a common interest talk with somebody
I
else?
wouldn't want to meet anybody in a beer parlor group. I'm sorry, no. No, I'm sorry.
So, I mean, it's phenomenal. If I was single now, would I want to? I probably would. I like my options open, but I think it's up to you eventually at the end of the day to filter through what's real and what's not. And people are who they are eventually. The truth usually comes out, whether it's online or physical. We've heard success stories from online dating. We've heard people who had very terrible experiences. And like life, you win some, you lose some. It's been quite interesting. Thanks a lot, guys. Really appreciate the input. And I want to believe if you could, you would do online dating now.
As long as VJ Adams can screen the girl for me. Because he seems to
From
understand, he seems to know all the she video call, put on the lights in the background. He has
For me,
to,
it's just a case of, how are you saying you've been talking to somebody online for
you know
6
you could
months?
start a site. You
And
can
you
start
never-
your own,
I never seen them walk
Or stand
You
up.
never
to the bathroom.
you could
No,
become
get
one to go pee.
a dating coach for online dating, you know.
I think that is a job.
Look at that.
That's a job opening that we'll look into. It has been Blue Room Banter's Certified Cool by Premier Cool Soap. Thank you very much for watching. I'm Oscar When you saw. Catch you on the next episode. Till then, stay safe.